What do we do? Excited?
Yeah. Do you know any tricks?
I don't know any tricks.
You have no magic tricks.
Where is it? I don't know how it works.
We just lost everybody.
That's how we're gonna start this. Welcome
first
back to the Two-Way Hockey Podcast. If you're listening on audio, that probably didn't make as much sense, but I tried to pull that incredible removing of your finger magic trick. I don't even know if you can see it.
It's supposed to be your thumb, though. That looks more like your thumb.
Oh, so what do I?
You have to, I don't know. I just know that it shouldn't look like it's your finger. There you go. That kind of looks all right.
That looks like my thumb. Anyways, sorry to those that are listening. Well, we haven't been here in a while. We've been busy.
Yes.
We've been perfecting our PGA game. Great game.
Yes, absolutely. We've been getting older as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Brandon had a birthday since we last.
That was like a week-long adventure. It's been fun.
It's still going on. I think it's his birth month at this point.
In some ways, yeah. It's always kind of been that way though, because it's actually usually the last week that everybody's home.
Mm-hmm.
So they're just like, you know what? We're off. We're not going to work.
Yeah. Money.
We're gonna be just
Great.
We're gonna enjoy the week.
Played some golf. Swore a little bit.
Oh. I been my clubs 4 times. Dropped 20 F-bombs. It's okay. It's good.
It's fun playing PGA 2K21 and then going out to golf because you feel so great about yourself when you're playing the game and you're like, I can golf.
Yeah.
And then you golf.
And then you get out there and you're like, I can't do anything.
Not the same.
I luckily at least haven't been to golf since downloading the game.
No,
so
you just got it. That's right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I've gone twice since downloading the game, and I just feel so much better when I come home and I shoot a 18 under.
Did you get the deluxe one, or did you just
No, I just got the regular one.
Standard, all right. Yeah. Got to work your way for those coins.
Yeah, I got to grind, and I'm doing all right. Doing all right. I got the pre-order, so I got some free shit to begin with.
Oh, okay. Yeah, see, I didn't do that. I just paid regular off the cuff, but we're moving. We're doing all right.
So speaking of golf, the Leafs made the news. Yesterday,
you think they're going to be golfing soon? They could hit up a course around us. You think
they're golf? They got to be golfing wherever they are, right?
I mean, I think you're free right now to do whatever. You're out of the bubble.
You don't have to be in a bubble anymore.
No, so I think you're kind of in range.
Yeah, and I'm assuming a bunch of them are going golfing. One guy that's not golfing in the Toronto area is Kasperi Kapanen. He might now be golfing in Pittsburgh. Who knows? I don't know if he's much of a golfer anyways. He doesn't look like a golfer.
Is that a shock to you? I think that's kind of like, I was pretty floored when I heard that.
I'm like, I figured that if they were gonna make a move, it would be Kasperi Kapanen or Andreas Johnsson. The fact that Johnsson just came off a knee surgery, I think, hurts his value a little bit.
I think you gave away the most valuable for sure.
Yeah. I don't think I think if Johnsson was healthy, I think there would have been a better chance of moving him. But I think you get more back for Kasperi Kapanen. What they did get back in this deal,
you didn't like what you got back, sorry.
No, so what they got back in this deal was a first-round pick, Evan Rodriguez, Philip Hollander, and noted AHL guy Joe AHL that I just haven't even bothered to learn his name.
He's 30 years old. Yeah, he's
not going to play.
I think he's played 55 total games. So
and they had to give up Cap, Jesper Lindgren, and Pontus Aberg was the other one.
Okay, right.
So realistically, the main
two of those guys could never suit up.
No.
2 of those guys you could never see in a Pittsburgh game. So really, you gave up
Lindgren. Yeah, Lindgren I don't think is going to be much of an NHL player, and Pontus Aberg can play on your third and fourth line. He played on the first line at times this year with Toronto. That's not insane. So realistically, it's kind of just Cap and a bit of Aberg for Erod, a first, and Hollander. I don't know enough about Hollander to speak on him. I've heard some good things about him. I don't see him as Pittsburgh's prospects. Like, if you're big on a Pittsburgh prospect, it doesn't actually mean they're good. It just means they're the best of what they have. Like, Pittsburgh hasn't hit on a prospect in.
But they held together with a lot of their own prospects this year when they came up to play, and they. Yeah. So I mean, it depends.
A lot of their first round picks though do not hit, and I think Daniel Sprong is one of the biggest examples of that.
Right.
So I mean, like a Pittsburgh prospect to me is just not
Now,
all
though,
that enticing.
does Kasperi Kapanen not count as a Pittsburgh first round pick?
Yes, but he got traded out of there, and
Right.
like I don't. So regardless, I think the big two pieces that everyone's looking at is Cap and that first round pick.
I think this is all right because it gets you at least back into the first round, which is something they traded out of to dump Marlowe. So you're now gaining a prospect potentially, or you're gaining a trade piece. That's middle round, right?
I think that's the thing. If
Right.
on the surface, this trade doesn't make a lot of sense to me because if you're the Maple Leafs right now, you want to get as good as you can right now. You don't need to be good in 6 years because you have the core pieces that are all under 25. So bringing in, especially this year, like the draft class is stacked, but it's stacked with a lot of forwards. You don't need another forward in this mix unless like
No,
you're trying to draft a
but you
third
know what
liner.
that kind of says to me though is that if it's stacked with a lot of forwards, then if teams are going to go and grab those, then you're 15th in. You might get a potential top 4 defender somewhere down the line, top 6.
I've heard a thing or two about a couple guys, but I just there
But
doesn't seem to be
you're also in no rush with it though. Your prospects you have
no.
great prospects as of right now who you've seen flashes of, but you haven't seen them at a full season yet.
Yep. Like Nick
And
Robertson can obviously be
Nick
one of those
Roberts,
guys.
yeah, absolutely. You could even count, the defensemen of Sandin and Milgren. Yeah.
Yep.
Like they haven't been up there
They
yet. And
have
that's what's
those
going to
pieces.
happen next year, though, right?
It's just for me, if I was looking to trade Kasperi Kapanen, there's obviously some value there because Pittsburgh was willing to give up a first round pick. Why not try and start packaging a couple of guys to try and get something that helps your defense now?
Good question.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Like I don't hate the fact that we have a first round pick, but I do not want to draft with that pick. I want to take that pick and turn it into something that actually helps.
But that can actually be done even on draft day, right? As late as that.
Yeah.
Sit around to some team that misses out on an earlier pick and says, you know what, our guy's still there. Leafs don't want it. Now you have more moves. Realistically, this gave you cap space. And yeah, I think what hurts most is that out of the top 3 that of assets that you're going to trade, the first one went.
Yep.
And that's kind of like a shock because everyone loved him. But realistically, he put up 36 points in 60 some odd games.
Yeah.
He's not going to have much time on there because Maple Leafs are stacked with forwards.
He's a third. It sucks because he's a right winger and he's not good on the left side and he's stuck behind Marner and Nylander.
Right. And they're not moving on from those guys. They've paid those guys. So it's I think most of it hurts because it was like, you know what, Kapanen, the Leafs fans fell in love with him from the start. Dude, I fell in love with him from the juniors. I mean,
yeah, he was fun. I liked him.
Yeah, I think a lot of people did though, especially when he signed for what he did on a friendly deal, and everyone knew the upside. Nobody stopped believing in him. I don't feel.
No, the guy was good. He was he's one of the more talented players that the Leafs had. He just he couldn't put it together hockey IQ wise, and I think that hurt him a bit. The argument I'm kind of tired of hearing though is the whole we cleared up a bunch of cap space with this. So Cap was making 3.2. You're bringing in Evan Rodriguez. He was a $2 million cap hit last year. The odds of him getting less than that is real minimal.
But you don't have to re-sign him. I think that's more of a cap going.
If they I'm not sold on the clearing up cap space part of it until they give Erod what if they give Erod a contract. If you give Erod another $2 million deal, you've cleared up $1.2 million.
I don't even think he thinks he's worth another $2 million deal. I think that you're going to either let him go or you might RFA him. I don't know what price tag that's at if you RFA him.
Like if you qualify him, you mean?
Yeah, I don't know what the qualified number is for him and then what you get.
I would like to know because I'm pretty sure I may be way off on this, but I mentioned this in yesterday's podcast. I'm pretty sure there's something in the CBA that the qualifying offer has to be more than what their current contract is, unless they're over the age of 30.
Okay, so he's
not. He's 27.
No, oh, is he really?
Yeah.
I don't think that's right though, because that's a big.
I'm not sure. Like I remember hearing that before because it came up with Marner that he can't make less than what he gets on this deal. But
okay,
For Erod, I don't think $2 million is worth it. I definitely don't think any more than that is worth it. I think he used to be a great player back in like college ages, but he was also playing with one of the best players in the NHL in Jack Eichel.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. You're not clearing up a ton
I
of
don't
space
even
if
think
you
I
have to
don't
sign.
think that they had any intention on even
I
keeping him
wouldn't.
as a player. I think that's more just to make
He's now a chip.
the money make sense. No, but even just to make the money make sense, right? You're okay if you lose him. That's where the first round pick is like you know what? We got that. You don't care about the rest. The rest is just money moving sides to make this
Yep.
trade work, but the real call and the real conversation started with we want the first round pick or we want Kasperi Kapanen, and that's that.
The pick is huge, and the Hollander prospect you're hoping could turn into something. He's 20 years
Even
old.
if
He's a
he's,
centerman.
but even if he's a bottom six forward, like that's exactly what you're looking for. You are not
Yeah.
hoping
You
that
need someone.
anybody cracks. Yeah,
You're kind of hoping to pay for somebody to do what Kapanen did at a lesser cap hit than Kapanen for now.
yep.
And you just kind of fill in with like guys on entry level deals. So I understand it if he makes the team. It's fine. The big piece for me right now is what you do with that first round pick and whether or not you're going to give Erod that kind of money. And if they do, this move doesn't make a ton of sense.
Mm-hmm. I
Right?
think yeah. But the Leafs I also heard have a lot of names floating in
They
the
are
air.
not done according
No,
to Kyle Dubas.
right,
I've heard rumors on the block about Freddie
right.
potentially being moved.
Yep. Johnson was
Obviously,
mentioned.
everyone in Leafs media is trying to get rid of Nylander for some reason.
Kerfoot. I
Kerfoot
feel
could
like
be a guy that be moved. Janssen is probably still
yeah,
on the block.
Johnson.
I don't
Yeah.
know if that's a move Dubas makes. Like I said, he's fresh off knee surgery, and you'd rather his value be a little higher. I think that's probably about it as far as big names. I don't really like. Obviously, maybe Marner, but he's already been adamant about the fact that Marner's not going anywhere, so I don't really foresee him doing something like that.
You think this has maybe now gives you a little more flexibility when it comes to Tyson Berry, and you
I
look
don't.
at him, or are you even
I don't think
are
they
you
look
even
at
looking at
Barry.
him?
I would like to see Tyson Barry come back. I don't think that's a route they look at. The one thing for me I didn't really understand is that there's still 8 teams that you can trade with that haven't that aren't eligible to trade right now. And
Okay.
one of those is the Islanders. And the Islanders have 6 really good defensemen,
Right.
and they're not going to be able to afford a bunch of them coming this offseason.
Yeah, because they paid Matt
Right?
Barzal huge money.
They're going to have to, right? So he's currently making 863.
I thought he got already
He hasn't
next
been
year.
signed yet.
He got 863 though.
No, that's his entry level
Right,
contract.
entry level
He's
deal.
an
I thought
RFA starting
okay.
after the season.
I
They have
thought he
to
had
sign.
already agreed to some sort of
So he's an
number.
RFA that's going to need money. Broussard, they're probably going to let walk. Matt Martin's probably going to walk. But like the main issue here is you have to sign Barzal, Devon Taves, and Ryan Pollock. I would have much rather waited around on because Pittsburgh they want Cap. They would have waited for Kapanen, but I would have rather waited until the Islanders were booted and been like, "Hey, what do you guys want for Ryan Pollock?" And if the answer is Kasperi Kapanen plus, I'd take a look at that route. But that's not the movie made, and that's fine. I guess I understand, but like I just feel like they kind of pulled the trigger a
I
little
mean,
early.
I heard that they talked to 6 or
A
so other
lot
teams.
of
Like,
teams.
if that's the number that's floating around, then
Yeah,
that means they're calling everybody, and I think it's more of a I don't from my perspective, Dubas doesn't like to wait until the last minute. He likes to get things done, and he likes to make sure that they're done for a while. That there's like a plan going ahead, and it's
mhm,
not just like last minute. Okay, we're gonna do this.
yeah. So they reached out to at least 7 teams,
Okay,
including the Ducks, Hurricanes, Blackhawks, Wild, Predators, Devils, and then Penguins. Which, I mean, the Ducks have some D-men you could take. The Canes obviously have D-men you can take. The Wild have D-men you could take. The
but I
Preds
don't think
obviously have D-men you
The
can take.
Canes
The
are too
Devils have.
convinced that they're
No,
onto
I,
something.
regardless, that's where you're looking in terms of like trade making. I don't
Yep,
know why you call the Blackhawks. I,
Duncan Keith, baby. Do
I
you want some of
like
that?
you want
Buddy, that veteran presence in the back.
you're hoping Brent Seabrook's bionic hips come back next year, and he's back to being what Brent Seabrook was in 2011.
He's
I
actually
don't know.
200 times faster than everyone else. Those
Yeah.
curves are so bionic.
He's
He's been out for so long.
what is it, the $1 Million Man? The guy, the fucking
Yeah,
robot guy, or whatever it was, 6 million, whatever he was. He's just full on robot now, and he's just.
Hey, they never said you can't be half robot, all right?
There is no rule against it.
No, just
But
do it.
yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't have hated waiting on it, but if Kyle Dubas takes that first round pick, combos it with some other stuff, and turns that into a bona fide top 4 D man.
Or he's also could turn that whatever money he's saving into free agency and go and get himself a top D man. He being the Maple Leafs, I think entices a lot of people to come here.
Yeah, sure.
And this is a pretty. I don't know. I think there's a lot of okay names, a lot of top 4 potential D men out there.
Yeah.
Coming up in free agency. Like I think one of them is even on Carolina. Is Sammy Vatanen not a free agent coming up? Who
for you if you want.
Who you might have actually already approached in Carolina, if that's what we're saying, right? If we're looking for D-men.
Straight D-men, right?
Right, but they might have asked for a certain price for Sammy Vatanen, knowing that he's going to be a free agent.
Yeah. So, as far as UFA D-men go, like you have names like, we've already been over this, but I'll just go through it quick. Bufflin, Pietrangelo, Justin Schultz, Barry, Green, Krug, Andy Green, Sammy Vatanen, TJ Brody, Cody Ceci, Chris Tanev, Kulikov, Erickson, Hamonic, Braun, Hainsey, Gudis, Dillon, Bomeister, Daly, Edmondson, Pissick, Forbort, Kevin Miller,
right.
TVR, Brandon Manning, Hunwick, Chara, Polak, Shattenkirk, Sakara, Hutton, so on and so forth.
So like there's some names there. So you now just gave yourself more cap to go talk to people, to go talk to those names.
Yeah, so
I think that has more value than trying to trade and force something and over give because you want to guarantee that guy.
Yeah, that $3.2 million can be turned into, I would like to say, what's his name there? I just read him off. Shattenkirk. I think
You're
Kevin
Shattenkirk guy.
I think he's a nice target because he can play on your right side. He's only 31. And I think he's looking better than he was a couple years ago. I think his career is starting to come back up. And he was signed at a 1.75 last year. So if you can get him at around 2.5, that still leaves you with what's $700,000 to play with still, that you can use the rest of your money. I just think he's a good option. There's obviously a few on here, and we'll probably talk about them every day until someone gets signed. But I think the move is to go that route as opposed to somebody like Alex Pietrangelo. Personally, because I just think Pietrangelo is going to demand way too much.
He could, although the Blues just kind of lost out in that first round, and he didn't look a whole lot effective to me.
No,
not the same way that he was
but like
last year. Yeah, absolutely. And not to put I'm not putting all the blame on him at all because Jordan Binnington could not find a win in the bubble. Right. So, but to be fair, like it's hard to go to the table and say, I deserve this much, and
that's fair.
We just lost out.
That's fair. He's also made it very clear that he wants to stay in St. Louis. Mm-hmm. So I know Toronto fans are all over, bring him in, pay him whatever he wants. It's like, well, what if what he wants is to stay? And he wants to take a discount to stay. Like, there's nothing you can do about that. Right. That's fine. I'm okay if he stays. I don't really want him. I'd rather take a couple of middle level guys.
He's also 30.
Yeah.
Like, so he's
you're gonna have to give him 7 years.
Right. He'll be looking for his end of his career contract, which is 5 to 7 years, I think. He might bargain on 5 if you pay more.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I don't want to pay more.
No, exactly. So then you're giving him 7 years, and that means, I take it from the Brent Seabrook.
Yeah. He hasn't really gotten his yet either. Like, he made 6.5 on his last contract, and that's good, but like he's a premier D-man in the league, and he hasn't reached $8 or $9 million yet. So you got to think in his last contract, he's going to want to get his at the length he wants. So you're looking at paying Alex Pietrangelo probably around $9 million until the time.
8.5. I was going to say 8.5.
Yeah. So even 8.5 until the time he turns 37 years old. Right. That's tough. It's not a deal I want to make. Whereas, who's another name on here you can go after? Roman Polak would be fun. Even Zach Bogosian, like as much as he's
No,
been meh
dude,
in
he
Tampa,
looks awful in Tampa. Like it's
or
so
like
bad. I feel so bad for Victor Hedman.
yeah, who's that? Radko Gudas is a good one. Gudas is 30. He's not gonna demand a 7-year deal. You could likely get 4 years out of Radko Gudas. Who knows? But then you're looking at 4 years of Radko Gudas at
I
around four
think we
million
said
dollars.
this last time though. Like Torrey Krug
Torrey Krug would be a
is an
great
interesting
one.
name.
I think it's very unlikely that we net a Torrey
Yeah,
Krug.
I
He's left-handed, which really doesn't help the Leafs much, but he's
I like
29
a
years.
I like a Sammy Vatanen. I don't know why.
Yep.
Even though he just got paid forward 4.8, I think, or four and a
Four
half.
point 875. I don't know if Sammy Vatanen's worth it. I like TJ Brody. I
TJ
think
Brody is an interesting name, yeah. But
there's obviously a couple names, right? We don't have to go through
yeah,
them, but
but I think there's definitely more to come,
I hope
to
there
say
is.
the least.
I hope there is. I really hope they don't use that draft pick. Like I hope they trade it and try and get something from it. I
Yeah.
just don't see the point in having it. Like you're at a point now, I said yesterday, you're at a point now where you're kind of where Pittsburgh was when they were trying to win cups is like you have your pieces in place. You just need to
Now,
fill with other talent.
one of my thinkings though is that first round pick could be accompanied with Freddie Anderson to get a goalie.
Sure.
Now,
Sure.
not to
Trade him back to Pittsburgh for
hang
Tristan
on.
Jarry.
No, not to start any buzzes. Okay, but listen. So
Yeah.
Pittsburgh has said both their goalies.
Yeah.
And there's also one team that you're actually unable to talk to now who has a little goalie drama, and that's the Las Vegas Golden Knights. Where Marc-Andre
Yeah, but
Fleury,
Robin Leonard's a free agent, right? So
okay,
that's
right. But Vegas has said that they like him. Vegas has now been the first team to actually said, here's the reins, you got it. We're
yeah,
going
that's
with
fair.
you.
That's fair.
And if he wants to come back for another $6 million for 3 years, 4 years, Robin Leonard's the type of guy that'll do that. He doesn't really seem like
He's not in it for the cash.
right, absolutely. Especially if he's going on cup runs. You know how badly this guy's wanted to do this
Yeah.
and be the goalie, to be the, you know what I mean, to be the guy. So I could
So
totally see him
let's take a look then.
sticking around Vegas.
But
And
who do you have that Vegas would want?
all I'm saying
Do
is
you think they
Marc-Andre
want?
Fleury as a
Do you
goalie.
think they want Freddie?
I don't know. I don't know what they want is.
I don't foresee them I could see them taking a flyer on Freddie. The only thing for me is that Fleury signed at a $7 million cap hit.
Right.
So you now have to shed more in order to get Fleury back because I
Right. But
think
what
Freddie's only 4 or something.
is he really?
Yeah,
Oh,
he's on a pretty nice deal.
it's really not that bad.
Let me pull it up, but I think he was on a $4 million deal. Oh, where is it there? $5 million deal.
$5 million deal.
So
Okay.
you need to clear 2. So you'd almost
No,
have to
you just
package
did.
Johnson in there.
Yeah, you just did. But plus, Fleury has a no trade clause, but that's obviously him saying that he
I'm
wants to.
pretty sure he'd waive that.
However, his base salary next year is only 6.5, I think.
It's not about what they're paying him though, right? Like the Leafs don't need to worry about how much they physically pay the guy.
I think they want to.
It's more the cap hit. Because they don't give a shit if they have to dish out $11 million at this guy. If he doesn't fit in their cap, it's tough to do.
Could you make Vegas eat some of that though?
I'm sure you could try and even it out.
Especially because it's only 2 years left after this year.
Yeah, I'm sure you could try. Just because then you're basically just paying Freddie the difference, but you're not actually giving it to him, right? It's I could see it.
I don't know if Freddie's
I don't
even
hate
in
it.
this deal.
No. Well, they could use it. They ran that tandem system once Leonard got there, and it worked really well, right?
Yep.
So I could
Fleury,
see them.
I guess Fleury. I don't know how your trust is on Marc-Andre Fleury, but
He wasn't very good this year.
Yeah. But neither was Freddie when it matters, you know?
Yeah, that's fair. But it's just I don't know. I could see them trying it. I don't know if there's just so many big name free agent goalies available. I just don't know if make a trade using that asset to try and get.
I think Robin Leonard being one of them makes it interesting.
Robin Leonard in Toronto does not excite me because that guy has dealt with a lot of mental health issues, and even the strongest of wills get broken down here. So it's not a sunshine and rainbows type of place for him here.
Right.
I don't like it.
So
Jacob Markstrom on the other hand.
I know you talked about him for the game. I think that unfortunately Vancouver's going to pay him what he wants.
Vancouver can. That's the thing.
Yeah.
They have. I'll pull them up here. They are in cap trouble. They had $30,000 of cap space as of the end of the year. They are losing to Foley. Vertanen's an RFA. Mott's an RFA. Gaudette's, I think it's an RFA. McEwen's an RFA. Stetcher's an RFA. Tanev's a UFA. Fantenberg's a UFA. Markstrom, Domingue, and then next year, Demko's a UFA. Which, you know what, that's fine. It doesn't seem like there's a lot to spend there, but then you have Quinn Hughes as an RFA the year after.
Okay.
Pedersen as an RFA the year after. And Brock in 2 years is an RFA.
But that's 2 years away. I think if you're worrying about next year.
Yeah, but if you're going to sign Jacob Markstrom, it's going to be a 5 or 6 year deal.
But if you're worrying about next year, then for me, the biggest name you talk to is obviously
you obviously go after Jake Markstrom first.
Yep.
But they don't have a lot of cap coming off the books because a lot of these guys are on entry level deals other than Toffoli. And you need to come up with a good $20 million by next year because you're going to have to give Petey and Hughes the moon. It's tough. I don't know. Like, I know they want Jake Markstrom.
Louis Eriksson makes the most money on their team.
A lot of money.
$6 million.
He's making $6 million. JT, I don't hate JT Miller's deal at 5.25. No. He's been really good.
Horvat is a bargain at 5.5.
Antoine Roussel and Jay Beagle are making $3 million.
Right.
That's a lot for fourth line guys. Michael Furlan might be out.
No trade clauses.
Modified no trade clauses, so they probably have a small list.
Player submits an 18. Okay, so
Michael Furlan is making 3.5, and he's got a no movement clause. He might go on LTIR though. His brain is turning to mush.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, he's missed a lot of games this year with concussion problems. I wouldn't hate to see them bring back Toffoli, just not at that cap hit, right? It's going to be a tough stretch for Vancouver because there's a lot of guys they need to pay, and it's all of their big name guys. It's kind of like a boomer bust year for them right now.
Josh Levo also comes off, even though he's been on LTIR, he comes off the books though at 1.5.
Fair,
because he's a UFA.
Sven Baertschi is buried right now at 2.2.
Still paying that.
They're paying Ryan Spooner $1 million. When did they ever have Ryan Spooner?
Wasn't he part of the deal to Edmonton at some point? Was that not it? Or no, that's to New York.
Yeah.
Who knows?
They're still paying.
Maybe they just chipped in money then. They just chipped in some money on that deal.
They're paying $3 million to Roberto Luongo for the next 2 years.
Yeah,
it's great. So yeah, I love the Canucks, but they're gonna have trouble signing some guys.
They're gonna get creative. You gotta think so.
Absolutely. With that being said, there's been a lot of Twitter war.
So, but good for the Canucks for being the last Canadian team in.
Okay, so I want your opinion on this before we go. If, as the last Canadian team remaining, do they become Canada's team to you?
No.
No? See, I'm the opposite.
Why?
Because it's been way too long since any of Canada's teams have won anything.
Dude, the last thing we need right now is for them to go to the finals again and riot, okay?
Well,
we don't need that.
Yeah, but if they win it all, I think that's great.
And if they don't again, then we're back to where we started. We don't need that right now. We're in times of peace.
It's just even if it wasn't Vancouver, say it's Winnipeg right now that's on this run.
For me,
would you not be rooting for Winnipeg?
I'm more of a supporter of whichever team takes my team out.
Okay.
I'm going to support you to go the rest of the way because
you want Vegas now.
I respect that you took me out. So Vegas right now, even though I've got the
you hope you lost to the eventual Cup champions. I kind of
Vegas, yeah, because then if Vegas goes and you're like, all right, I lost to the Cup champs, that's cool. And Vegas does look like they could be that good, which is fucking damn fine with me.
They didn't look too good last night.
That's all right. But yeah, it's also
on
fun.
The side that I know there's not a lot of Canadian players on Vancouver, and there's a lot of American teams that have a ton of Canadian players. But I'm on the side of seeing a Stanley Cup go to a Canadian team, and I think that's kind of cool. Obviously, it's different if this is
it's the same
Montreal.
thing with the Toronto Raptors, though. Not everybody is a Toronto native or a Canadian native.
Exactly. And
Like,
people still embrace them like they're all
right.
from
But they
downtown
embrace
Toronto.
the city, right? How many of them have had kids here now that actually are Canadian citizens
Yep,
because
that's fair.
they've had kids here, right? Like
Yep.
that's the same thing with the hockey players where you have your child. Like
William
that's
Nylander,
right,
noted Canadian William Nylander. Yep.
right.
It's I'm just I don't I understand where people say they're not Canada's team and a lot of provinces have their own team. So
I'll
it's a little
still
different
I'll
than
still
basketball.
support. There's no doubt. Like I respect that they're a
I
Canadian
would
team.
much rather see a Canadian team win it and like maybe they don't become Canada's permanent team. No, that's obviously stupid. But I think for now I don't see why we can't
No,
all band together and hope to God that Vancouver pulls through.
because you're still hoping for your team. You're still a Leafs fan in your heart. I'm still a Blackhawks fan
Yeah,
in my
but
heart.
like I'd probably feel different if this was Montreal, obviously. But like
Right. See what I'm
this is
saying? Though
Vancouver.
you can't just make an
I have
exception because it's Montreal. You can't just say like, oh, Montreal.
I have no. How many teams across Canada have a rivalry with Vancouver right now? Edmonton doesn't.
No.
Calgary doesn't. Winnipeg doesn't. Like
I don't know.
who
But like,
should
okay,
legitimately hate the Vancouver
Canada's
Canucks?
teams for me though are also like I get behind it because if you're the only Canadian team in that
Yeah,
sport, then
yeah.
sure. Like the
Okay,
Jays and the Raptors, absolutely.
that's fair.
Because you're Canada's team. That's the only team that we have.
That's fair. I just don't understand. I feel like it's more fun to try and root for this underdog Canadian team who's literally shouldn't even be there at this point. They just took down the defending champions and now they're against one of the best teams in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a lot more fun and I don't understand why more people won't get on board with the fact that Canucks are just fun. And let's
Too
just
much pride.
enjoy this Canadian team doing wonders.
Well, you enjoy it, and everybody else can frown at it,
That's fine.
and that's
Their
just that,
captain's Canadian.
right?
How many
I'm not saying anything against it. They've got some good Canadian players out there,
they
no
have
doubt.
one.
But
They have one good Canadian
Jake
player.
Virtanen is
Jake Virtanen's okay.
he's a
He's
talker
not
though.
great.
He's a talker. He's an assistant
He's
in
been
the
fun.
room.
I love Jake
He has
Virtanen with
been,
all my
yeah.
heart, but Vancouver fans hate him. I don't
Oh,
understand. I don't understand that.
you know why? Because he was an 18th overall pick that was supposed to be like, hey, I got some skill, and then
Yeah.
I'm gonna hit. I'm gonna Rappy Torres my way in the league
A lot of
without
the
the
knock
fighting.
on him I've seen has been he doesn't have hockey sense. I don't see that.
I
Like
mean,
watching
don't
I've
make
watched a
Team
fair
I don't
amount
think
of
you
him.
make Team Canada juniors without some hockey sense.
Yeah, I watching him all year. Like I've watched a lot of Canucks games this year, and Jake Virtanen, he's obviously not your top line guy, and he's probably hasn't lived up to the 18th overall pick. But like
But you
what
don't
that
need.
kid can do is pretty
You're not
impressive.
also asking him to be like that though, right? That's the reason why you
No,
have your Brock Besser, your Bo Horvat, your JT Miller, right? You brought in
yeah, they do pay him
Tyler
like that.
Toffoli,
Is a problem.
right?
And I understand if it's kind of a Cody Ceci situation where if you look at his contract and what he does, it doesn't match up. But if you just watch Jake Virtanen for what he is, Jake Virtanen gets it done out there, and he's tough and he can skate and he moves the puck well. He does make a couple of strange decisions, and I guess that's where it comes from. But for the most part, he does positive things with the puck, and I don't really understand the hate. But here we are.
I
Elias
don't know. I don't
Pettersson's
think they're
winning
making it.
the.
I don't think they're making it past though this round. They're gonna have a lot of questions to answer at the end of this round.
I don't know, man. If Jake Markstrom keeps doing what he can do, he
That's fine. They just that
put up
Vegas team, man.
38 shots last night.
Right, but that doesn't happen every
They
night.
looked like a piece of Swiss cheese against the Vancouver offense when they were flying.
When it's flying, but when they start throwing body around, those guys go away.
Did not matter. They just blew right by.
First game, they looked.
First game when
scared.
Vancouver had 1 day off. Vegas had 4.
But it looks scary. It doesn't matter. Vegas is a real
I
deep
think
team.
once you run into the part where one team's not rested or one team is rested, like you don't have that advantage anymore. Things looked a little different last night, and Vancouver looked like they were ready to play, and Vegas could not keep up with them.
But game 1, Vegas came ready to play.
And Vancouver played 2 days before, is what I'm saying.
It doesn't matter, though. That's
they are
playoffs.
now on a level
it does
playing.
not matter. That is playoffs.
Well, it does because they're now on a level playing field for the rest of it instead of Vegas having this wicked advantage going into game 1.
Okay, but I still think that Vegas already has a wicked advantage just for their team.
I don't think they do.
We're going to find out.
I think they're solid top to bottom, but I think star power alone, I think Vancouver has the serious advantage.
Oh.
Who go down the list? Who's better, Pettersson or Stone?
Mark Stone.
No.
Mark
He's
Stone.
better defensively.
Mark Stone, both sides of the puck.
He's a better passer, better shooter, better playmaker, better everything except defense.
Mark Stone.
Stone doesn't have the shot, and he doesn't have the passing that Pettersson.
You don't think Mark Stone has the shot?
No. Not that Elias Pettersson has a 100-mile-an-hour one-timer. Or 100-something one. He was second in the All-Star skills competition for hardest shot. He's got a cannon. Like, Mark Stone doesn't have a bad shot. I'm not saying that. I'm saying he does not have the Elias Pettersson shot.
Okay, but
who's the second best player in Vegas?
Dangerous to what?
Who's the second best player in Vegas?
I would say Shea Theodore, but other people would.
So is he better than Quinn Hughes?
He could play like it in this playoffs for sure, 100%.
Yeah, but on a regular day, he's not better than Quinn Hughes.
Okay, but game one shows exactly what Vegas is capable. We can argue that all day, then that's fine. But they're going to come tonight, and they're going to do the same thing they did in game one, and they're going to bully them around. They're going to hit them. They're going to fly out there. Like, Vegas doesn't even start their line one. They start line four so that Ryan Reeves can get a huge hit and just scare the shit out of these little...
They scored a minute and 30 seconds into the game.
Game one.
Game two, they scored a minute and 30 seconds into the game.
Right. But,
so this isn't a little Vancouver team either. Like, we're not talking Toronto-style speed. We're talking guys that can bang and crash on lines 2, 3, and 4.
Okay, but they're... Elias Pettersson is not a huge...
Elias Pettersson's a little guy, also really good at not getting hit.
Sometimes.
He creates so much space, and he did it last night. He just creates so much space where you cannot touch him. And he has Mitch Marner level vision, and he can also shoot the puck like Ovechkin at times.
That's a lot of respect to Mitch Marner.
When Mitch Marner's on, not playoff Mitch Marner, regular season Mitch Marner vision. Like, the guy's good. The team's good. They're big. They have big D-men. Like, their whole back end is huge other than Quinn.
Okay,
it's a good series. It's not as... but Vegas isn't quite the favorite that people think they are. Sticking in Vegas' division, though, did you see... This is probably the last thing we got, but what Logan Couture tweeted out last night?
No.
So... Or was that... It might have been today. Sorry, it was today. So Logan Couture, obviously not in the playoffs. Nope. Obviously not doing much right now. He tweets out, he goes, I spent last night in Toronto, Ontario. I talked about voting for the Republican Party, and I mentioned Donald Trump by name. I was sucker punched. Is this really what we're coming to? If you vote, you are a villain? Man, this world is so wrong. So Logan Couture, there's this account on Twitter. Her name's Leah Kessel. Her account's Leah Flame. She has some takes. Some of them are horrible. Some of them are good. But she responded to that tweet with she quotes it, "This you?" And then it was a tweet of his. It goes, "My thoughts. Sorry if this offends anyone. All love." And then it was a statement from him. And it went, "I don't know how to properly write this message. First of all, I applaud Evander for speaking the truth. Racism exists in society. It also exists in hockey. That's a fact. Growing up in this game is a privilege. At times, I think most of us have been at fault for turning a blind eye when it comes to racism. I cannot continue. I've had the opportunity to play with some incredible teammates, black, white, all colors. Getting to listen to them talk about things they have gone through in hockey and life is eye-opening. As a society and as hockey players, we are only scraping the surface and fixing what desperately needs fixing. Thanks to Keem and Evander for speaking so loudly about this issue. We all need to learn. We all need to love each other regardless of skin color." So what side is Logan Couture on? You can't be both those guys.
Can sit on a fence with the best of them.
Oh, you can't be both those guys. You can't talk about how racism needs to go away and then talk about your support for Donald Trump within like a month. Those are two very polar opposite things. And he bashed Tara Sloan. You know Tara Sloan. She does hometown hockey, all that stuff. So Tara Sloan liked that tweet where Leah Flame said it. And he goes, "Are you serious, Tara Sloan? I don't vote. I never said I like Donald Trump. I don't. Last time I do anything for Sportsnet." So he's not happy. Also, who gives a fuck? You're Logan Couture. You're not even that good.
Wow.
Like, there's so
Dude,
many
just
other
throwing
players
shade
that
at
I'd
everybody
rather
out there.
see on my TV than fucking Logan Couture. Nothing gets me excited about Logan Couture. You're on a team that finished like third last in the league. Get out of my face. You didn't even get a first round pick by being bad. Stop. No one cares about you.
Look, they made a really bad trade, and that's not
It
their
was
fault.
terrible. But they were not good. The team sucks. So then he said that, and this person responded back with, "What was the point of this tweet then? What exactly did you get punched for? I'm sure it was something." And he goes, you said saying my dad was a police officer and I would, if I could, vote Republican. So you just said you don't like Donald Trump, but you would vote for him. So, like, you're going against your own point.
Yeah, I just feel like it was looking for something, and he
It's
found it,
bonehead.
and
Bonehead.
yeah.
Like, you want to have a day, tweet something stupid like that after trying to support Black Lives less than a month ago.
Yeah.
Funniest thing I saw, though, Amir sent it to me. Dan Carcillo. Love him or hate him, regardless of how you feel about Dan Carcillo, this was legendary. Guy tweets out, I spent last night in Toronto, Ontario, sucker punching people in the face for their political views. I wish Milbury was still in the city. I had to settle for Logan Couture. I fucking love it.
He's a funny guy.
Oh, it's so good, man. Dan
He
Carcillo
is definitely outspoken, like
he
in a
has
good
some
way.
takes.
In a good way.
Horrible human being throughout his career. He's kind of rejuvenated himself a little bit.
He's like he's one of the first guys that I've come across to openly say that he would have given back his NHL career just to have his brain back and to have like his all those injuries taken away. Like that's pretty big to say. That's pretty eye opening. But like he is definitely not afraid to speak his mind and to be funny.
So fucking funny.
Yeah,
Dan Carcillo, absolute legend.
I hope this doesn't take away though from sports though. Like there's a lot of things.
It won't. There's so many other things going on right now that I think are more important than this. Absolutely. It's just bad timing too. Like the whole I'm gonna blank on his name. Jacob. Oh, I'm gonna sound like a dickhead now. Jacob Blake. Sorry.
Jacob Blake.
Yeah, the guy that just got shot 7 times in the back of his car.
Right.
Or in the front of his car, sorry. And like that all going on right now with teams potentially sitting out over that.
I know that NBA
that's a big deal right now.
They've talked about they're going to exit.
Right.
Some players are considering leaving the bubble, which is huge. And I wouldn't be surprised if NHL players started to follow.
I would, because those guys are. They have not done a good job right now. But either way, like it's not the time to be tweeting out something like that, given the political climate right now. It's maybe hold off on that. It's a bold play. I don't know why you're trying to make news doing that right now.
Yeah, I just definitely hope that it's not something that we continue to talk about past this, because there's bigger matters. I hope he realizes the error in his ways and kind of says something about it.
Learn from it, because that was a dumbass thing to say, and
it's okay to make mistakes. Just learn from them. But,
Yep.
But before we end it, though, man, I do have to give some love out to the hottest team in the NHL right now.
Okay.
The Dallas Stars, who have decided that they are a wagon.
Yeah. They're running their backup goalie.
They have
doing this.
And he is just doing what he needs to do, but like they are firing on all cylinders. It doesn't matter who has the puck; they're shooting it in the back of the net.
No, Miro Heiskanen looks like one of the best D-men in the game right now.
Oh my gosh, what a steal for them! Wasn't he like the third overall pick or something when he got him, or second overall? Like he was. Was he not right after Eichel?
Near the top.
I'm almost positive that he's kind of in that year, or maybe it was the Nathan McKinnon year, and he was around like Drouin. I could be wrong.
I think you might be right.
Yeah, I know that he was after some big names.
He was picked third overall in the 2017 entry draft.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fucking tough. You know who 1 and 2 in that draft were?
Oh, am I wrong? Am I completely wrong on big names?
You are wrong on who the top 2 guys are.
Oh, okay. Give it to me.
Oh no. The next three after that are money. So first overall, 2017 NHL entry draft. The New Jersey Devils select Nico Hischier.
And the
Second
Philadelphia
overall in
Flyers
the 2017 NHL entry draft.
select
The
Nolan
Philadelphia
Patrick.
Flyers select Nolan Patrick. Then Heiskin into the Stars.
Yep.
Fourth overall, the Colorado Avalanche select Cale Makar. Wait. Fifth overall, the Vancouver Canucks select Elias Pettersson.
God.
Oh no.
Oh no.
You want to talk about a botched draft? Hello, New Jersey and Philly. Oof.
Yeah, they were the
Oof.
best players that like in the junior year, but oh man,
Nick Suzuki was in that draft.
right?
Eric Brandstrom was in that draft.
Man.
Robert Thomas was in that draft. Ryan
Okay, but
Paley, Morgan
that top
Frost,
five, that top five are unreal.
Yoki Haru.
Uh
That's so
yep,
painful. Oh, that's
that
bad.
sucks.
Jesper Boquist.
No, he's doing well. He's definitely put that team
Yep,
in
that's
a position to win.
they have scored multiple goals where they just go crashing through the net.
Yeah, and that's
So
it. They just slap things
that
around. They
Jamie
drive the
Benn
net.
goal where he scored and just brought the net with him through the backboards.
He does not shut up, and I love it. He will be in everybody's ear the whole game.
I love him.
Yeah, and just like that's your captain, and you gotta love it.
It's awesome.
I
love
think
it.
they
They
could
look good
beat
against
Colorado. They could
Colorado.
shock Colorado.
They are currently shocking Colorado. It's
They will
2-0
be.
in this. They
Yeah,
play
it's
tonight
like
at 10:30.
I feel like it could be 3-0.
3-0. Especially due to the fact that Colorado doesn't even have Groovy in that.
And Eric Johnson.
Or Eric Johnson or Calvert or there's one other name.
Right.
But yeah, it's not good. It's not great, Bob.
Good thing I got these jerseys at the time.
Yeah. Welcome on the bandwagon. How the hell are you?
I got a regular.
Is that it? I think we're good.
I think so. Which series, I guess, or team left you the most upset throughout this whole bubble so far? Yeah, like left disappointed. You know, like you were just most frustrated with. You thought would do way more. I guess you might say the Leafs because
obviously
you're
Toronto because yeah, I thought they were better.
But outside of them,
I don't really know. Let me go back. I think Calgary was a bit of a letdown. I think they looked great at times in that series, and I thought they should have been better. I think Carolina not taking any game or taking just the one game from Boston was shocking because I thought Boston looked bad.
Carolina, to me, I think is the biggest shock because they did what they needed to do to be defensively good. I think just goaltending shouldn't maybe surprise us, but
I think I mentioned it is just James Reimer and Peter Mrazek. It's like they're both goalies.
James Reimer is not a big fan of Boston and Toronto.
No,
not a big fan.
They're not the goalies that you want to take you to the promised land, and I think they showed it. It sucks. I think surprising on a positive side of things was Montreal.
Montreal made it a little further.
I did not even see them getting through Pittsburgh, and they managed to take 2 games from Philly, and they were in the other 2 games, but Carter Hart stood on his head.
Yeah.
They could have won that series.
For me, I'm actually really happy with the way Tampa Bay has been still now continuing to look good in spots. I know they lost game 1 against Boston, but like I'm almost positive Stammer's not even there.
No, he's not.
And that's a huge loss. And Braden Point has just stepped right into that top line center role. And you know what I mean? He's going to make some big money.
Yep. He's already making little money for 6
little
years.
money, but he's going to make big money eventually. Like he could be a top line center for years to come, and a good insurance policy when you think about it.
Yeah.
No, I like it a lot.
I don't like Tampa. I wouldn't mind seeing them lose.
I know that, but I feel like they got a pretty easy route ahead of them, man. You get through Boston, you kind of either see New York or Philly. I think it's going to be New York.
New York's a wagon.
Yeah,
they're a wagon. I hate it, but they're so
They're everywhere. Have you watched any of their games?
I've watched the Philly game. They are
Man. Even
good.
when they played Washington, there was
So
there was no ice that they weren't at.
they're
They
so
skate
good.
everywhere. Yeah.
Their systems and the way they can skate and just
The best part is that Matt Barzal is the worst player.
Yeah, it's
He's
so
like playing the worst right now, and
good.
they're still winning.
They're getting goals from everyone.
Yep.
They had like 10 different goal scorers in the first
Olivier has
game.
been dynamite. I think your brother said it yesterday, and I completely agree. I was like, wow, yeah, Anders Lee, the captain, hello.
Yeah. Crazy. I'm blown away by that team.
Yeah.
Good for them.
They're playing right now. Hopefully
they are playing soon.
No, it's already started.
Oh, it started. You're right. Wow, it's already 3:00. Fuck. All right, I think that's it from us.
Absolutely, yeah, man.
Check us out. Twitter, Instagram, website. At
you don't even know
CA Sports, at Two Way Hockey on Instagram and Twitter.
If you lifted your camera a little bit, that flag would be.
Oh, I could just like
just flash it a little bit.
Just like
there.
Yeah. We have merch. Buy a nice flag just like that.
We have golf shirts that we wore.
Yeah, we might be
post that soon. I'm gonna post that to the site. I think.
All right.
Post that to the Instagram.
All right. Yeah, we'll catch you sometime soon. Hopefully sooner than this one. But yeah.
Depends on how much PGA we play.
Lots. Cheers.